So what I want to do today, guys, is take a look at some standard Vixen style dovetail bars that I bought off of Amazon. And these are from a company, and I'm going to spell it Yueoct. Now I've got this excellent Vixen style dovetail bar from Astrophysics, and the issue with it is it's just too big and too heavy for what I want. It's the proper length, but just way too much for what I needed. So I did a little bit of research and, as I said, found some on Amazon. Before I go any further, let me show you how well these are packaged. I really like to see things that have attention to detail when they're packaged. This particular bar is a 230 millimeter long or 9.05 inches long dovetail bar. So it was in this box and it was sealed, both ends, and then also at the tabs here. It's got this styrofoam type cushioning with the included hardware. And what really surprised me, just take a look at that, this nice heavy mill bag. I mean, that to me was above and beyond. The ultimate in protection. So here, guys, you can clearly see the ones that I just bought versus the Astrophysics, which again is just much heavier and way too much overkill for what I need. So here, guys, you can see the three that I ended up buying. I actually bought two of the large one because I needed two of those. But in the rear, you have the 400 millimeter, which is 15.7 inch long dovetail bar. That was $59.99. In the center, you have the 300 millimeter or 11.8 inch long dovetail bar. That was $49.99 each. And then in the front here, you have the 230 millimeter or 9.05 inch long dovetail bar at $44.99 each. These are compatible with any Vixen style saddles. Now each dovetail bar comes with the exact set of hardware that you see here. They will include M6, quarter inch, and 3/8 inch. And you do get two Allen wrenches. And then there you can see the quarter inch and 3/8 in this packet. And then in this packet you have the M6 by 10 hex socket screws. So let's just take a look at the 230 millimeter or 9.05 inch long dovetail bar. They're all going to be the same other than the length. You can see that it does provide slots so that anything you place on this bar, you have a good selection of where you can put it. It has a nicely engraved scale along the edge, starting at the center and working its way out on both sides. So this allows for repeated setups. When you're placing this into a saddle, once you know where you need it, you can just kind of keep an eye out on these graduations and have again repeated setups. It does have these anti-slip rubber pads that you can see here for gripping. Now, if you're going to use more than at least two or more fasteners, then this really doesn't mean anything. If you're only going to use one fastener, then this may help. But most telescope applications, I'm assuming you're going to use at least two. So the rubber pads really wouldn't come into play. None of the other dovetail bars that I have ever had these, but it is something nice to have on there. certainly not a negative. Now, this rail would be nice to put multiple, if you're using a longer bar, you could put multiple digital cameras on here, and as long as you have a dovetail saddle, you now have a nice setup to hold 2 cameras. And really, your imagination really limits you, because you could use put lighting equipment, different things on here, and again, as long as you have the dovetail saddle. So these dovetail bars really come in handy for a multitude of things. It's just whatever you would use them for, you could do it. And again, with the slotting into multiple holes, you don't have to modify them. More than likely, the way they come, they'll suit your purpose. And as you can see, it's been milled out so that it still retains its rigidity, but doesn't keep any extra stock that would add weight needlessly. Very rigid bars. And what I ended up doing was buying this bar and the 400mm bar just to see how I'd like it. So then when I ordered another 400, because I actually needed another one of those, I then added the second time a 400 and then the 300. Very pleased with these. These bars are constructed of aluminum material. Each dovetail bar also has these bolts that you can take out in each corner. And what that does is, if your saddle is short enough that, and it's a tilt-in type dovetail, then you can actually use these, so that way they act as stops, so that if you loosen up your saddle, it'll hit there and here should something want to slide, which would prevent your equipment from falling out of the saddle and hitting the ground. If for some reason you were to lose these, they're very small, you would need to replace them with an M3 by 0.5 pitch. And they are a socket head cap screw. The length of those are 4mm. Here you see the 400mm or 15.7-inch long dovetail bar and what I wanted it for. This is the older design Lunt 35mm hydrogen alpha telescope with the B600 blocking filter. What I had been using was Astrophysics. For the longest time had their own dovetail bar that was narrower than the Vixen. Then many years ago they came out with their own product which met the Vixen standard, the width, and then of course they also have the Las Mandy D style. So this was the last piece of equipment that I have not changed over. Everything else is either Vixen or the on larger instruments it would be the Las Mandy D style. So, and I do have the 40mm on order. So I thought I need to do it at this time, get the saddle and the dovetail switched over. And again, that's what led me to research a small bar. So in my opinion, I think these are an excellent dovetail bar. Very happy that I bought them.